Cowboys OT is brought to you by Sleep Number. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeti. Officially licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concession, and on Yeti.com. And by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com.
I don't know if it's the Christmas music or if it's the Cowboys getting a win here in this holiday festive studio at the Star in Frisco. It's Cowboys OT as the Cowboys take down the Washington Commanders, 30-23, the final score in Week 17. Alongside Nate Newton and Isaiah Stanback, a couple of former Cowboys. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to all those out there. And thanks for joining us here on Cowboys OT because there's a lot to break down in this game. I know the Cowboys are out of playoff contention. I know there are a lot of fans that would not like to see a win at this point in time. But when you're trying to establish under a first-year head coach a way to conduct your business going into 2026, this is what you wanted to see, Isaiah, and they got it done on the road.
You wanted to see you walk away with a W, and you wanted to see yourself walk away healthy.
Yes.
You got both things for Christmas, so Merry Christmas to all those. Happy holidays. Dak Prescott is healthy. Your offense is healthy. Defense is good to go. All right, solid. All right, let's get that out of the way. Dallas Cowboys took care of business today, and that's ultimately what they walked into that stadium to accomplish. They did a good job of having consistency on offense. These guys had sustained drives. The first two drives had 30-plus plays. That is absolute insanity, okay? That is like ultimate 4-minute offense type of deal in the first portion of the game. They were able to have their way on the ground game. They were able to throw it around, get it into the hands of different playmakers. They had splash plays. Can you believe that? Splash plays? No, in the Schottenheimer offense? Yeah, it happens again. Okay, so they took care of business there. And then defensively, that's where the positivity for me stops. They didn't do a great job in terms of being able to get one of the worst, call it what it is, one of the worst teams off the field. They were able to have consecutive drives. They were able to have splash plays. You were playing a little bit soft coverage, kind of more of the same there. I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but we're talking about the holistic game. But that's what I saw out of the game today. Ultimately, again, you walked away with the dub.
Hey, I agree with you 100%. These guys went out and won the game. Dak got out of it healthy. Receivers healthy. On defense, you know, it's going to be that way, people. We just got one more game. Go through this right here. The one positive is we got big number 92, Williams out there. He's trying to do the best he can to lead us. We got a lot of young guys in the secondary. We got a lot of young guys playing that linebacker. Shamar James is his name. He's doing a super job. He's learning on the fly. So I like how Coach Schottenheimer is saying, you know what, I'm going to put guys in and I'm going to let them play the whole game. I'm not going to piecemeal this thing. Yep. He's putting guys in. He's putting Revel in. You are a starter. You either going to learn and get this right or we're going to find out and get you exposed. So, hey, he's doing it the way I would do it. I would not play Dak coming up, but the way Coach Schottenheimer is doing it, he's trying to tell people, earn the right to be on the field. And everybody that can suit up and and have a chance to perform, I'm going to put you out there. Clowney, great day, my friend.
And I think there's a lot of the experimenting going on, no matter if the starters are in or not, and we saw that a little bit early on in the game as well. Let's get to the highlights. Cowboys playing on Christmas Day for the 6th time in franchise history. This one happens to be in Landover, Maryland against the Washington Commanders. 4th down and short was an early theme for the Cowboys. This is their first of the day. They converted on 4th down and 1. Javonte Williams plows ahead. Dallas keeps the drive alive. Later in the drive, Dak Prescott finds Jake Ferguson tipping the ball to himself. He bobbles it, but holds on. Dallas on the board first at 7-0. Following a Washington field goal, it was back to 4th down and short. Dak Prescott over the middle finds George Pickens for a big gain. He works inside the 35-yard line. 1st down, Dallas. Dallas would need a couple other conversions in the second quarter. How about 4th down and 2? Dak Prescott over the middle. Almost the same type of play, but this time it's to Jalen Tolbert in the middle of the field. Dallas keeps it going. Then on 4th down and 1, Brian Schottenheimer saying, if it's even close to the 1st down marker, we are going to go for it. And they did. 4 for 4 on 4th down in their first 2 drives, and it results in 14 points. Dallas punches it in with Javonte Williams, 14-3 Dallas early. It was 17 plays, 13 plays on their first 2 drives. How about just 5 plays needed to find the long bomb to Turpy speed. Kevontae Turpin from 86 yards out. It's the longest play from scrimmage this season for the Dallas Cowboys. They take a 21-3 lead, and it just so happens that Kevontae Turpin on the field, he scored his return touchdown in last year. He's back in the end zone this time as a wide receiver, but Washington was not done yet. Last couple minutes of the second quarter, Corey Krosky-Merritt out of Arizona has his first touchdown of the day, and I say that because he had another one. This time it's from 70-plus yards out. He gets through the second level of the Cowboys defense, and then it's off to the races. Krosky-Merritt finds the end zone. It's a one-possession game just like that. Dallas goes from up 21-3 to up by 7. Both teams would trade some field goals before the fourth quarter. Then in the fourth quarter, Brandon Aubrey puts Dallas up 30-20 from 51 yards out. So Dallas up by multiple possessions. That's big for Brian Schottenheimer and company. Dan Quinn's offense drives down the field prior to the 2-minute warning. They elect to kick the field goal just to keep that 2-minute timeout in their pocket and all 3 timeouts. This field goal, also 51 yards out, makes it a one-possession game. So then Dallas, all they need to do, run out the clock, get a couple of first downs, and they got it here on the quarterback sneak. Dak Prescott works toward the line to gain. Dallas gets the win against their NFC East division rivals as they embrace at midfield. 30-23, the final score. And of course, this is a special Netflix Christmas Day broadcast. So Dak Prescott and Kevontae Turpin being treated with custom Netflix Christmas coats and some Christmas tomahawk steaks as well to celebrate their 30-23 win. Here are the final stats brought to you by Miller Lite. You take a look at the rushing yards, over 200 in the game for guys like Malik Davis, who finished with 103 yards on the ground. Javonte Williams had 54 on the ground and a touchdown. Cowboys took care of business, and they destroyed Washington in that time of possession battle, 38 minutes and 44 seconds. When we come back on Cowboys OT, we're going to hear from head coach Brian Schottenheimer about what he thought he saw from the Cowboys in their win over Washington on this very Merry Christmas Day.
This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Cowboys get the win here on this Christmas Day, 30-23 over the Washington Commanders in Week 17 of the NFL season. The Cowboys dominated time of possession, 38 minutes plus on the clock, plus 480 total yards in the win. Cowboys go 5 for 5 on crucial fourth down opportunities in the game, including 4 on their first 2 drives, and then another one late to seal the deal over Washington. Nate Newton, Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us here on Cowboys OT. Let's hear from head coach Brian Schottenheimer out in Landover, Maryland after the Christmas Day win.
Yeah, the message was Merry Christmas. I thought, we've talked about the relentless play style. We've talked about that all week on a short week because we knew we couldn't get pads popping during the week, but we knew we had to play a physical game. When you guys go in there, you'll see a few of the guys look like they were just in literally a heavyweight title fight. Malik Davis's arms all beat up and bloody, his eyes swollen. We were running out of bodies there at the end on offense. 80-something plays, 38 minutes time possession. But again, at the end of the day, it was a physical game, and I'm just really proud of these guys.
Fourth down, obviously you talk about third down, sets up fourth down, but the fact that you did convert 5 fourth downs, how big is that in a game like this?
Yeah, that was kind of the plan going in, but why? The plan is you got to play yourself into those situations, and we weren't being cavalier, we weren't being reckless with it. We were getting ourselves into fourth down and 2 or 3, and we trust our guys to make plays, and I think they did it. I think it was 6 for 6 is what they told me. Again, I think that's a huge part of the time of possession.
Clarence Hill, Bill Lewis, Cowboys. The season was Dak has been sharp most of the season. His first game under 60% passing. Didn't seem like he was as sharp as he's been, but at the end of the day, 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and then keep converting fourth downs in the fourth quarter. You're talking about Dak's game? Yeah,
his game again was incredible. He's been playing so good. He missed some throws. He'd like to have some throws back. I'd definitely like to have some calls back. There were some calls there that I just really didn't like. I thought DQ had a better call than me in a number of areas. But again, the leadership, the guy made plays with his legs. The guy, we don't convert those fourth downs without Dak. I thought that's where he was really, really sharp. And, again, the way this guy competes is just special, Clarence. And wasn't surprising to me that we finished on the field with the ball, and he did it with his legs with the quarterback sneak.
6 sacks. He took a lot of hits.
Yeah.
Now you just have to look forward next week and say maybe we need to say this is enough for that.
It's Christmas. I'm going to enjoy Christmas, man. I'm going to have some eggnog, and I'll deal with that when I get looking back to the film. But definitely some eggnog, and we're playing to win.
Not a shot.
All right, drinking some eggnog and playing to win. Brian Schottenheimer making it very clear what the thought process is from that Cowboys coaching staff. And he talked about it a little bit there. There's an importance of showing toughness, of showing grit at this point in time when, yes, the games from playoff standpoints don't matter. It matters for a lot of these guys, and that's why you have Malik Davis, like as he mentioned there, bloodied up and beat up after the game was over. He finished with 100 yards rushing. That's a big-time win for the Cowboys just to see the type of personality there.
For sure, and it's such a difficult position for these coaches and management to be in this time of the year, as you mentioned, Kyle, where the Lombardi is no longer in your grasp, right? You have no opportunity to attain that this season. So now what are you playing for? You're playing for respect, you're playing for pride, and you're playing to try to build your roster up. So you're in this predicament as a head coach and as management to where you're trying to still establish this new culture of Dallas Cowboys football underneath the Schottenheimer era while trying to protect your players, right? While trying to evaluate players who have been under, haven't had the opportunities as the starters. So this is a weird time to be in the game, and I think that they did a heck of a job managing it today. Thank goodness that any of the superstars really got hurt today, but I think that the players who had opportunities like Malik Davis, we've always known he's a baller. He's been around for years taking care of business. But today he had an opportunity to go out there and do more, put 100 yards down on the ground. Some of these offensive linemen had an opportunity to go out there and show why they should be in the running for being starters next year, right? As you're starting to try to evaluate those positions. Defensive backs, as he mentioned, those guys were out there fighting. The culture, I think, is instilled. There's no question mark about what the Schottenheimer culture is. Now it's about these guys going out there and executing. Can they go out there and initiate and actually execute the game plans that are being handed down to them? And then can they execute their one-on-one matchups within the game itself? That's what they're taking a look at. But I think the culture is emanating through this roster.
This guy has been consistent. Coach Schottenheimer has been consistent. He's telling you, I'm going to play the guys that deserve to be out there on the field, whether it's our starting quarterback, Dak, who we know we don't agree that he should stay a whole game. Or some of us don't even think he should start. But I think he should start because you're trying to go from top to bottom showing guys that they have to execute, that they have to be smart, and they have to be tough. And I've liked what Coach Schottenheimer has done this year. It's not over. One more game. If you can get through this here safely, navigate this thing, I think it's a decent year for the Cowboys. I know as fans, I'm one of them that always believe that we should be in the playoffs or going deep into the playoffs and going for the Lombardi trophy. But that takes time, and he's willing to this is his first year. He's putting in the time, and his players are starting to put in this time and understand what it takes to be a winner.
And I think there's going to be a conversation from this coaching staff. You're going into a mini-bye. You get a little bit extra time to prepare for that final game against New York. So at some point in time, there will be a conversation on, do you start to sit guys? I think this was one final hoorah to go and try and win it in front of a national television crowd, or I guess national streaming crowd on Netflix, and then see what happens from there. We'll see what happens going into
like a week 2 preseason game.
It might be. It might be that final dress rehearsal. When we come back, one of the knocks in this game was the performance of the offensive line. Dak Prescott sacked multiple times. We're going to hear from Tyler Smith up front when we return.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Leave here with a win?
I mean, I think it was just extremely important, for the standard that we hold ourselves to in this organization. Ultimately, we're not where we want to be at this point in the year, but, the standard remains a standard. We're winners, and we're winners at heart, and everything we do, we try to win at.
I thought you guys came out hot, and then 3 touchdowns quickly. What was working so well early on, and then how did they, adjust to that?
I mean, I think we just had a good marriage of running pass, complementary plays, moving the ball really well, no self-inflicted wounds, no penalties to start drives on special teams or offense. So I think when we were at our best, we were just moving really efficiently. I think where they got us is coming out of the half. We kind of stalled ourselves a little bit, kind of got ourselves behind the sticks. We didn't convert the way we wanted to, so it's just about being consistent with those things.
What's it going for fourth down so many times and converting?
I mean, shout out to Shotty. I think that just really shows the mentality of Shotty as a head coach and the trust that he has in us to get that yard. And it's easy to go, when you don't get that 4th and 1. There have been games where we haven't converted to give up on that, but he hasn't given up on that. That just shows his belief in us as a unit.
What about Malik Davis, the guy who, comes through late in camp and added and comes back to the team? And what do his teammates feel about Malik?
I mean, I got the utmost love and respect from Malik Davis. I mean, we came in the same year. We was the same rookie class. I've seen him through the ups and the downs. I saw him when he got cut from the team and he wasn't with us no more. I saw him when he came in, and one thing that he's always has is that winning attitude. I mean, he comes in, he busts his ass, he works hard, and when his moment shows up, he takes advantage. So I think that's just a testament to him as a man, as a player.
Speaking of the running backs, what does it say about the grit of these guys? Javonte continues to try to battle through the shoulder injury. Malik, he gets poked in the eye. He keeps going. What does it say about your running backs?
I mean, I think it shows who they are as men and competitors. And when you got your running back, behaving that way, I think as a blocker or somebody who's trying to move guys out of the way from them, it kind of makes you G-check yourself a little bit. You got to check your attitude when you come through the door, because you got a guy that's going to run through walls even when he isn't feeling good. So, I'm going to block, do what I got to do even when it's not how I'm feeling.
Second half.
It was really a tale of two different offensive lines in this game from Dallas. On one hand, this was an offensive line that dominated in the run game. Mm-hmm. They were paving the way up front. You saw Tyler Booker manhandling some defensive tackles at times. Tyler Smith was fantastic at the left tackle spot. Saw Terrence Steele blocking the way for a couple big runs to the outside. With all that being said, they put up 200 yards rushing, but then they allow 6 sacks. So the pass blocking was not the same from Dallas in this game. Nate, when you evaluate the offensive line, what stood out to you and how they performed against Washington?
Today it was the middle of our offensive line that wasn't as strong. Our center didn't have one of his best games. Him and the guards gave up 3 sacks, and Tazar Newton, my long-lost nephew, which I never could pronounce his name from day one. Yeah, I couldn't pronounce it when he was born, so I know I can't get it now. But anyway, we as an offensive line, they are under the most fire, them and our secondary. These two units have to pick it up, but we're talking about our offensive line. Beebe has to pick it up. Our right guard is a young guy, and so we're trying to get him going in Tyler Booker. We put T.J. Bass, they held up, like you said, Kyle, they did a super job of running the football, but when you're dealing with a DQ guys, they love to get after the quarterback, and today, in the middle of our offense, it was kind of weak.
The middle of the offensive line has been the area that I've been most concerned about. I know people are going to talk about the tackles. I think Terrence Steele is just maybe having a down year for him. I think that he has that dog in him, and that's something that you can't teach. I think there's a reason why they gave him the extension that he did. He will go back into the workshop this offseason. He'll be ready to rock. Your left tackle position, that is something that you have to continue to develop. In Tyler Guyton, your first-round draft pick, I think it's more mental with him than it is physical. We'll see exactly where he's at when you return. So all your attention for me goes back to the inside. Tyler Smith, all-pro. You talk about Tyler Booker, somebody who had a solid first year as a rookie. So then I'm left with who? I'm left with Cooper Beebe. And Cooper Beebe, for me in the middle, is somebody that has to do some self-reflecting. And he has a tough freaking job now. He has a tough job being in the middle of that offensive line, making all the calls, being in sync with the quarterback, making sure that everybody is getting communicated to, making sure that he can handle his assignment for whether it's one-on-ones, combo blocks, working up to the next level. There's a lot that goes on with that position, even after getting the snap taken care of. So I give grace there. However, he faces some of the nastiest dudes in this league. And he has to figure out, is it a size thing? Is it a technique thing? Is it a strength thing? But I think that this year, they have gotten the better of him a lot of times this year. And as Nate just alluded to, today was another day where it wasn't necessarily his best day. There's a number of times where we've had to sit here and say that this year, which is fair to say about everybody, but at that position, with protecting the person that's behind you, you can't afford for that to be a weak spot.
Everybody loves Cooper Beebe, and he's become a fan favorite in his 2 years here. He's an incredible person. His family's been fantastic. I believe his family watches our content as well. Yeah. So I do want to be careful in saying this, but at some point you do have to be reflective of what shows on the film. And Nate, when you look at the struggles that Cooper Beebe has shown this season specifically, what has been the problem up front, and is it solvable for Beebe?
It's the first quick step. Whether it's with the Eagles, whether with Washington, when he played big athletic guys, he seems to either be not technique sound or strong enough, like Isaiah said. He's got to pop. And he's got to start getting his hand. He don't have the longest arm, so you got to be hand placement conscious. You got to get his hands there. He's got to have his knees continually bent, and he's got to be willing to get up under people. Stepnoski was great at that. Yeah. He was an undersized guy. He was like, 6'3", 270 pounds. So he played against big, huge guys all the time. But these guys are very athletic, especially the Eagles. That's where he really struggles. When you get against a big, strong guy, he's got to be hand conscious of where he's placing his hands, and he's always got to have the leverage. He can't never stand tall because if he does, he's not big enough to stand up with these guys. But if he can fix that, because he's smart enough, and I think he's got the tenacity to do it. But can he stay technique sound and get stronger?
Yep. I like it, and I think as a third-round pick, he was thrust into a starting position immediately. He hasn't had the chance to grow, but he's getting a ton of reps. So we'll see what happens going into his second full offseason with the Cowboys. When we come back, Jadeveon Clowney has made quite the impact in his first year with the Cowboys. He finished with a sack and a half in the win over Washington. We'll hear from Clowney from the locker room when we come back.
Oh, very important. Just get it off of us, man. It's been rough the last few games. We need to come out here and get a win.
You obviously had to ramp up. You didn't have a training camp, but over these past several weeks, looks like you found your groove. Just talk about where you are right now after having the kind of game you had against Washington.
Oh, yeah, I feel good. Like I told them, it's going to take me some time to get going. I'll come off the couch. They would slowly get me involved in the scheme, and it's worked out for me towards the end of the season. Next year, I just got to get ready a little earlier and stay ready, so I don't have to worry about that. But just having fun out there with the guys, man. And it's been a great season. I had a lot of fun playing football. That's probably why I'm out there making a lot of plays, just having fun. And I ain't thinking about making plays, just thinking about having fun.
Where's the next year?
Why was it important to get this win?
So,
I say next year. I mean,
what about it?
Is it?
Is up and out for me? Oh, yeah, they willing to bring me back. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm definitely going to play. I got a lot left in the tank. I ain't going to go sit on my couch. I'm going to stay ready.
Maybe sign a little bit earlier in free agency.
For sure. I'm trying to go to camp this year, so I get the rust off me and get going. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
How much fun are you having?
A lot.
Interesting stuff there from the Cowboys edge rusher, Jadeveon Clowney, back alongside Nate Newton and Isaiah Stanback and Kyle Yeomans. And I think when you look at his production, when he was signed off the couch, might we remind everybody, a couple weeks into the regular season, we looked at his production last year with Carolina and said, okay, 5.5 sacks. If you could give that to us, we'd be happy. There'd be a good amount of possibility there on the defense. Well, Isaiah, with 1.5 sacks today, would you like to know how he's fared in that regard?
Listen, how's that?
He has equaled his production from the year before.
I like it a lot.
He's hit 5.5 sacks. So with one game left to play, you heard it there from Jadeveon Clowney. He's going to play next year. He's got a lot left in the tank. Certainly looks like it, especially in a game like this where he was all over the field. Nate, would you bring back Jadeveon Clowney in 2026?
You know, barring price, yeah, I'm definitely bringing back this guy. And what was even more amazing is he started out slow. We questioned him about some run against Denver. But the rest of the games, Isaiah, the rest of the game, this guy set the edge.
Yes, sir.
He's a run stopper alone. When you can get a mercenary like that that's willing to come to training camp, willing to do his job. Like I said, I don't know the price. I don't do that, Mr. Jones. That's your money. But I promise you, if we can get this dude in camp and get him going, we need positives. You can't continue to go one-year player, and never build no continuity. We need guys that we can depend on.
What position does he play?
Defensive end.
Defensive end.
Yeah.
Veteran defensive end.
Yeah.
That still has some juice in the tank, correct?
Certainly showed
Still
it today.
Still doing his thing. 12 seasons, about to be in the doggone chamber, going towards year 13. Most 13-year vets try to do everything they can to avoid training camp. Nah, not Jadeveon. Jadeveon just came out there following a game that he went out there and took care of business and came out there as a leader on a defensive end position and stated, I am going to play next year. Whether they bring me back or not, we'll see about that. But I'm here to play. I have more left in the tank, and I want to be at training camp so that I can get the rust off prior to coming into next season. This is a man that you want to have on your roster. Again, As Nate said, he's not counting Double J's pockets, but I'm hoping that if they can get him for the right price, and I would imagine that year 13, he's not having crazy sack numbers. He should be in the same category as every other team is most likely going to offer him. So I would much rather see him come back and be a sound pillar at the defensive end position in that room to help young defensive ends. You still have a young Sam Williams that's trying to figure out how to play that position. You still have Donovan Ezeraku, who had a rookie year, who's obviously coming along. You need somebody that they can look up to. You can't be looking at each other or looking down based upon new guys coming in. You need a veteran that you can lean on. Every player that comes to this league needs somebody that they can count on and rely on and ask questions to. It's called wisdom, and he has exactly what Jadeveon Clowney has.
And he's showing that leadership ability by taking that challenge on and showing exactly what it means to give effort when the games don't necessarily matter toward postseason recognition. We saw some effort on the offensive side as well from the Cowboys. Kevontae Turpin, every time he takes the field in Landover, Maryland, he seems to have a special performance. This one ended with a big-time Christmas coat and some steak. We'll hear from Turpin next.
Yeah, definitely wasn't my sharpest. Got to go back, look at film. I know a couple of them, they did a good job. You know, I was putting the top on it, wanted to be greedy early, and I honestly had some of my shots, missed them. Had one early to CD, just underthrew him. Honestly, tried not to overthrow him. Was disappointed in myself when the ball's halfway in the air. Yeah, just missed some throws. There was one late in the third quarter, an over to CD as well that left it behind him. That you want back, and then there was that third down, right, back-to-back plays to see that he made the right play, made the right read. I've just got to get him the ball, simple as that. We're able to get a win, though. That's the most important part of it. Yeah, it did take some hits, but came out clean. Blessed to play on Christmas.
You still want to play next week?
For sure.
For sure. No question.
No question. I mean, I love this game. I love any opportunity that I get to play it. And so with like that being said, I mean, yeah, if I get to go out there, I'm going to give my best. I'm going to prepare the same way. I'm going to be the same player that you guys know. And so I understand, you know, the reasons why maybe not. And if I'm approached with that, I'll handle that then.
So a final decision has not been made?
I mean, in my mind, and any conversations I've had to Shotty or anybody about it would be I'm playing. So, yeah.
Dak Prescott talking to the media after the game. We're going to break down his performance when we come back with more Cowboys OT.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Cowboys win on Christmas Day against the Washington Commanders, 30-23. Welcome back into Cowboys OT alongside Nate Newton and Isaiah Stanback eating the W as Cowboys get it done in Washington. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Dak Prescott, we just heard from him speaking to the media after the game, 307 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, did not throw an interception. He goes into the final week of the regular season. At this very moment, Matthew Stafford still has to play 2 games, but he leads Matthew Stafford by 303 yards to possibly become the first Cowboys franchise quarterback to lead the NFL in passing yardage through an entire season. So with that being said, we'll see if he plays going into that final game or not. We'll see if Matthew Stafford plays the final 2 games or not as the season winds down. But when you looked at his performance, Isaiah, there were a couple great throws, incredible throws. The one to Ferguson back of the end zone, fantastic. There were a couple that he missed, and he even alluded to that in his press conference. Your thoughts on how Dak performed in Week 17?
It wasn't his greatest game, and you just heard him say that. One thing about Dak Prescott is he takes ownership for his performances, you know, good, bad, or the ugly. I think that obviously he has some passes that you expect him to make, but then there are some that that you also expect him to convert on, and he just didn't do so. I think there are some opportunities that he tried to force the ball into some tight areas. I think there are some balls that were underthrown. Again, being a former quarterback, I'm very, analytical in terms of ball location, even on that particular pass right there. You talk about being on the outside shoulder versus being behind him. So there's some little things that I'm sure that other people are fully acceptable of, that he's going to be super critical of, but that pass right there is an absolute dime that he just threw to Jake Ferguson. Heck of a play, but the ball location was exceptional.
When you look at this situation, when Dak has a clean pocket, all these things Isaiah's talked about, popping the hips, making sure he's accurate, putting the ball where it need to be. But when he's up under duress, when he's got to throw for 40 or 50 times per game, that's when he loses some of his zing and some of his flair. But as long as Dak has a clean pocket and don't have to move around a lot, and we got some type of running game, he's that guy.
Yep. And that's exactly what you want to see from him as the season winds down. That and remaining healthy.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing. So if he doesn't play in Week 18, I think I'd be okay, but we'll talk about that as the week goes on. When we come back here on Cowboys OT, we wrap up this 30-23 win over Washington. Look ahead to the final week of the Cowboys regular and 2025 season.
To watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV.